Hey guys, welcome back to I Watch a Lot of Movies because I watch a lot of movies. Tonight we're going to go over all the movies that I watched in October. So a lot of scary movies, of course. Actually, all of them are scary movies. Um, so I'll go over the ones that I have, and then the couple that I streamed, I'll just put up pictures of them since I don't have them yet, of course. I'm going to try to do this pretty quickly because I think I watched like 60 or 70 movies altogether. Um, Feel free to count along because I haven't counted. But let's see what we can do. First one is 31 by Rob Zombie. It's pretty good. I actually got this new in the past few months, and it was better than I thought it would be. I have a 2-pack here with 1408 and The Mist. I didn't watch The Mist. I just watched 1408 because it's a good ghost story. Then I have The Addams Family 1 and 2. I only watched the first one because, in my opinion, usually the original is always better. And then I watched the movie Afflicted. This is a kind of like a found footage type of movie where I think it takes place in Europe somewhere. Not exactly sure where. I want to say like Amsterdam or something. But basically it's about a guy that becomes a vampire. And then we have An American Werewolf in London. That's always a classic. And then we have the original Amityville Horror. I've seen both the original and the remake. I like the original better. That's just me. And then a new one to me was Apartment 143. I actually streamed this first and then bought it because it was really good. It's a found footage kind of movie. It takes place in an apartment, fairly large apartment, but it's pretty good. Then we have As Above, So Below, which is filmed in the French catacombs, where people go where they're not supposed to and basically get scared, we'll say the least. And then we have The Babadook, just because basically the mom goes nuts and the kid's pretty nuts as is. Then we have the classic Beetlejuice with Michael Keaton, of course, and Gina Davis. And then we have the Blair Witch, and the Blair Witch this isn't the Blair Witch Project. I have that one, but I watched this one instead. I like this one a smidge better, just because it was like the original is like the starting point for POV found footage movies. But this one I like better just because it's clearer and you can see better stuff. But yeah, I thought this one was a little bit better. I haven't seen the second one. Was it Book of Shadows? I heard it wasn't that good, so I don't have it and I don't plan on watching it. And then we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the old original. And then we have Cabin Fever. Yeah, this has some pretty grody scenes in it. Makes you not want to go out camping. Then I have the original Candyman. I haven't seen the new one, but I've seen this one a couple of times before, and when I rewatched this in October, I hadn't watched it in a long time, and I rewatched it, and it was creepier than I remember. Then we have Carrie, of course, where she goes on a killing spree, basically. Then I watched Casper, because I figure it's a Halloween movie just because I think it ends with a Halloween party, and then it's just cute. It has Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci. Then we have good old Chucky and Child's Play. And this is the first one. I think I've seen all of them, but I just have the original. And then we have the classic Monster Pack, which has, let's see, Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Wolfman, The Mummy, Phantom of the Opera, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and The Invisible Man. I think I watched all these in one day, plus another movie, because these are actually pretty short. They're only like 30 or 40 minutes long. Because, these are all in black and white, and back in the day, they didn't do long movies like that. Then I watched a new one. I think I got this one like 2 years ago. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be, because I only saw the trailer. Come Play. It's pretty creepy. It's about a kid that basically, he's like a loner, and he doesn't have any friends, so he basically reads a story and manifests one, as I would say. Then I have the 6-film collection for the Conjuring movies here, as well as the third Conjuring movie. The only ones I watched out of these were Conjuring 2 and Annabelle Creation. I mean, The Conjuring is always a good one, but this one was meh. This one was meh, and this one was meh to me. But I watched this one, and this one. They're all good. I just watched this one just because it was the new one. But these two, this one has probably some of the craziest scenes in it, in Annabelle Creation. The Conjuring 2, just because it has that demon scene in it. And then we go to back to the 90s with The Craft. You all know those guys. And then we have The Crazies, where basically the whole town goes nuts. Basically it becomes like psycho killer zombies or something. Yeah, it was pretty good. It has, what's his name? Timothy Oliphant in it. And he's a good actor. And then I have somewhere, I don't even know where it is now. Yeah. And then I have Creepshow here, the first movie. I don't own the second one yet, but I plan to hopefully by Christmas, because those were always a classic. And I want to get the third one because I've never seen the third one. And I like the first and the second, so I'm pretty positive I'll like the third one. I also watched the series on Shudder. I watched season 1 through 3, and they were really good. I think those ones actually have better stories than the movies themselves, but you know, it's up to you. And then I have Christine, you know, the killer car. That's always fun. And then A Cure for Wellness. I think this is really good. I guess it'd be horror, yeah. But it's like horror and psychological horror. It's really creepy. It's really well done. The acting's really good in it. Some of the scenes in it are kind of like, you don't forget them. So, yeah. Then we have The Curse of La Llorona, about the, basically the wailing witch. She wails because she, I think her kids either drowned or she drowned her kids, and then she killed herself. And then when she wails, that's for you to come closer so she can kill you. And then we have Dark Water with Jennifer Connelly here, which is, I believe, based on a true story. I've seen the video before. I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen most of the scenes though, but it happened in New York, I believe. Basically, a woman was being haunted by something, and she went up in the elevator trying to run away from whatever, and I think in the elevator she got possessed, and then she went all the way to the top of the hotel, and then climbed into the water tower on top for the water supply for the hotel. And after like a week or two, the guests in the hotel started saying that the water was starting to smell. So they did an investigation and they found her in there. So yeah, that's kind of creepy. Then we have Dead Silence, the crazy ventriloquist movie. It's pretty creepy. The main villain in this is really creepy. And it has a very good, like, you know how Freddy Krueger has 1, 2 phrases coming for, you know, like the rhyming song. This one has a good one in it too. I'll let you listen to it for yourself. Then we have The Descent. I think I've seen both. I like this one better just because it's the original and it's really creepy. And I like how it ends. Then we have The Devil Inside, which is inspired by true events. It's about a girl who's, I believe, a journalist. And she goes to the Vatican where her mother is. And they're taking care of her because she's like possessed by some demonic force. And you know, stuff goes awry, and panic and craziness ensues, of course. And then we have Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's always a classic, with that big butt wig, as I call it. Then I have Devil's Due. Very creepy movie, found footage style. Basically, it's about this married couple that have a baby, and I think it's like the Antichrist or something. So kind of like Omen, but like before the baby came out. Um, then I got this one this year because I have this Elvira movie, which is always a classic, and I didn't even know this was a movie, but I think this one's older than this one, and this one just came out this year on Blu-ray. So I watched both, of course. This one's more goofy, funny, I think, and this one's like, it's still goofy and funny, but there's a little bit more seriousness to it. But this takes place in a castle, and this takes place in like a quaint little town. I think they used the square at Universal Studios where the clock tower is and all those houses. I think they just decorated them differently. And then we have Evil Dead 1 and 2, the original ones, of course, by Sam Raimi. And then some of these, a lot of people have said that this is the scariest and most haunted movie to watch. The Exorcist, of course, because the girl in it died afterwards. But it's a classic. I always watch it. I'm not scared of this movie. I think when I first saw it, I wasn't scared. I was just like, what the hell is going on? So, yeah. Let's see here. Then we have Final Girls. This is kind of like a movie that's making fun of all kinds of slasher movies. Like this guy, he kind of looks like Jason in a way, but he's not. Basically, this group of, people get sucked into a movie and then they have to survive through the slasher. Then I have the original, The Fog. I'm looking for the remake because I saw the remake before I saw this one. They're both good. I kind of like the remake a little bit better just because the effects, of course. I mean, this is still good, and this is actually in the steelbook. But yeah, I'm on the lookout for the other one someday. And then I got the Forever Purge on the last day of September. I've seen all the other Purge movies. I have them. I think the best ones out of all, how many are there? This is the fifth one? Yeah, fifth one. The second one, which is Purge Anarchy, and this one, they're probably the better of the five. The third one is too political for me. The fourth one was like, okay. And then, the first one, it kind of had like a weird bad ending. So, this one's pretty good though. The story of it is a lot better than most of them. Then I have Frankenweenie, which is pretty funny. This is by, Tim Burton, of course. You can already tell by the character looks. I remember when Nightmare Before Christmas came out, they showed a short version of this, like a couple clips of it, like as a trailer before the movie. I went and saw it at the El Capitan Theater, and it was amazing. Because afterwards they took you into the back of the theater, and they had like this whole thing set up where you could walk around settings and all types of stuff. But this is pretty cool for what it is. It's Tim Burton, and it's claymation. Can't go wrong. Then we have a new edition, Freaky. If you haven't seen this, watch this. It's pretty funny. It does have a few gory parts, not too many though, opposed to like some other movies. So they call it Freaky because it's like Freaky Friday, where Vince Vaughn plays a serial killer or a psycho killer, or some sort of crazy person that kills people. And then this girl, Catherine Newton, she plays a teenager in high school. So basically, they switch bodies. So she becomes a psycho killer, and he becomes a teenage girl. It's pretty funny. And then I have the remake of Fright Night with Colin Farrell and Anton Yelchin, I believe. It's pretty good. I haven't seen the original. I really want to see the original just to compare it to this one. I like how this one's made. I like how the actors acted it out. It's really good. It's a good show to just put on whenever, actually. But it's a good vampire movie. Then we have The Frighteners with Mr. Michael J. Fox. This is like a mix between comedy and horror, I guess. I mean, I think it's mostly comedy, in my opinion, but that's just me. But it's pretty funny. And then we have the original Friday the 13th, which, I think I've seen all of them by now. I finally watched Friday the 13th Part 3 on a streaming service this year. because I've never seen how how Jason got his mask. Like, I knew in this one, in the original one, it wasn't him, it was the mother. The second one is where he had the sack on his head or whatever. And then the third one it shows how he got his hockey mask. So that's why I want to stream that one and see that one. But that's the original. Then we have Grave Encounters and Grave Encounters 2, of course. I think I streamed this one first, and then I got it. That's why it's still in the cellophane. And then I got this because I watched this. Or wait. No, I watched this first. Streamed this. But they're both really good. This one's probably a little bit better just because it's the first one. But it's still good. They're both really good. It's that found footage kind of style. Then we have The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I've seen the original, was it Japanese one called Ju-On. That one's scarier than this, of course, because this is made for Americans. But they're both pretty dang creepy. When this movie first came out in theaters, I used to call my ex-girlfriend on the phone because we saw it together. And then, like, the following weeks, I would call, and she'd answer, and I'd do the voice that the girl made in it, you know, with the throat, because she was, like, missing her bottom jaw. And then we have the original 1978 Halloween from John Carpenter, of course, with Mr. Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis. And then I have the remake from 2018. I went and saw this in the theater, and I liked it so much, I convinced my mom to go see it. So we both went and saw it, and she even liked it. And she does not like horror movies, like, at all. So I was very surprised that she liked it, but it was really good. I also saw Halloween Kills. I streamed it on Peacock, I believe. It was okay. Wasn't as good as this one. There's supposed to be another one called Halloween Ends. I'm guessing that comes out next year. This one was way better, though. Halloween Kills was okay. It was kind of like, you know, Halloween 2, where Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hospital, but Michael never gets into the hospital in Halloween Kills, which is kind of funny. But, yeah, the one thing that I remember from Halloween Kills is that they did a recount of all the kills that he did in that movie, and they said it was like the most kills he's ever done in any Halloween movie, which is insane. So yeah, that's pretty nuts. Then we have the Rob Zombie version of Halloween and Halloween 2. Love this first one. The second one, you can go without it. I fell asleep to that, so I don't know if that really counts for me watching it. But this one's really good just because it shows how he became nuts before Halloween night, basically, like at school, and you know, his home problems and stuff. And then, of course, Halloween night, and then they flash into the future where he's grown and he goes nuts. So yeah, it's a different take on it, but it's basically the same story. And it's really good. Then we have Haunt, which was a new one. It's a Shudder original. It's from producer Eli Roth, of course. This was a good little surprise movie. I wasn't able to stream it on any device, so I wanted to buy it. But basically, these people go to a haunted house, you know, in the middle of nowhere, of course. And the clown, I think he's the guy at the very beginning that, like, lets them into the haunted house. And then, you know, these three are inside. And as you can assume, you know, they all start trying to kill the kids that are inside, the main group. The scariest part is when they take their masks off. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then we have The Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, of course. This one's always a good one for Halloween, just for the aesthetic purposes and the decorations and everything in it. And what's funny is The Haunted Mansion, this is based off the one, I believe, in Florida, because it has a greenhouse. The one in California here, it does not have that greenhouse. It just has the house for the ride. But I think when this came out, it came out before I went to my last trip to Florida. So I was trying to figure out where this one was based off of. And then I went to Disney World. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So it's cute. It's a good movie. Then we have The Haunting. I have the original one in black and white, which, you know, isn't as scary because it's black and white. I like this one because of all the people in it. We got Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, and Lily Taylor. Yeah, really good actors in it. I especially like this version because Owen Wilson dies. Yeah. Then we have The Haunting in Connecticut. If you have not seen this movie, watch it. Based on a true story. And this, like, to say how good this movie is, I have a friend who's an actor, and he watches movies too. And if the first 15 minutes doesn't, like, hook him, he'll stop the movie and take it out and stop watching it. I lent this to him one year, and he watched the whole thing. And I was shocked because, you know, number one, it's a scary movie, and he's like a professional actor. So yeah, it's really good. But it's really creepy because it is based on a true story. Then we have Hellfest, which I believe came out either last year or the year before. Really fun. Basically, it's like going to, you know, Universal Horror Nights or Not Scary Farm, or, you know, any kind of like an amusement park thing, but it's not based on a theme park per se. It's like a fair, I guess. I think they have maybe a couple of rides in it. I only saw the one that I can remember, and maybe the Ferris wheel. But other than that, I think it's mostly mazes and haunted houses and stuff. But the decorations in this are ridiculously good. The only bad part about this is the end, because as you can see, this guy in the front, you know, he's the killer. But they never explain anything about him. So I'm either hoping for a sequel where it kind of, you know, says something about him or something. I don't know. One of my new favorite found footage movies is Hell House LLC here. Sadly, it only comes in the DVD form right now. I'll get it on Blu-ray whenever that comes out. I watched this one, and then I found the other two. What was it? Hell House Abandoned Hotel was number 2. And then Hell House LLC Lake of Fire, I think, was the third one. This one's still the best one, just because it's the original. It's where everything started. But 2 and 3 are they're still good, and they actually follow, you know, along after this in the timeline. So it's not like a whole separate movie. And I think all the movies take place in the same house or hotel, you know. But yeah, really good movie. Then we have Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. I only watched the first one because the second one's like, if you see this one, you're basically watching that movie again and the second one to me. But yeah, I gotta love Pinhead there. Then we have an A24 movie, Hereditary. Don't watch this one if you do not have a strong stomach. It has A24 is known for like it's artsy movies, I guess. But where it comes artsy, it becomes realistic and very scary. There are a couple of scenes in this movie that may scar you, but basically, I can automatically think of 2 scenes in this movie that, you know, basically you're going to remember them for the rest of your life after watching it. And not in a good way. So yeah, Hereditary with Toni Collette. It's really good for a scary movie, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's pretty nuts. And let's see, what else do we have here? We have Hocus Pocus, of course, the Disney classic with Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. I always have to watch this movie during Halloween just because of the feel. I think it takes place in Salem? Does it take place in Salem? I want to say it does. Or somewhere in Maryland or something. I don't know. Somewhere, you know, where the leaves change. But it's really good. I know people that put this movie on and just leave it on 24/7 during the month of October. And then we have the Shudder original Host. This movie's kind of like Unfriended, but without like person in the chat. This one's like it actually takes place during the pandemic, I believe, and they're all on a Zoom call, and then stuff starts happening because they do a seance on the call. So yeah, real smart. And then we have Hotel Transylvania and Monster House. Love both these movies. I used to have the second one and the third one of Hotel Transylvania, but the first one is probably the best one out of the three, so I got rid of those and just got the 2-pack of this one. They're really good. They're, funny and ridiculous. Little kid movies, I guess. House of a Thousand Corpses by Rob Zombie. It's probably his most famous movie, alongside what is it, Three from Hell, and probably his Halloween movie. Really good, really creepy, really good Halloween movie. And then I also watched the original House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price, because it's just a classic. And this year I actually watched it in color. Never seen it in color. But whenever they do old movies with color, like I think I have Miracle on 34th Street, and on my version you can choose to either watch in black and white or color. And I've watched it in both, and I always go back to black and white just because it's more vintage that way, I guess. I watched House on Haunted Hill this year in color just to see the difference, and yeah, I definitely go back. I do not have that movie on Blu-ray yet because it has not been made singularly on Blu-ray yet. It's the only way that I've seen it on Blu-ray is basically in a Vincent Price collection with 5 or 6 other movies, and they want like $200 for it. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not spending that much, thanks. Then I have The Houses October Built. I saw this recommended by somebody that I follow on Instagram. Shout out to Possessed by Horror. She has a channel, which is Possessed by Horror. She does horror movies all the time. Another found footage movie. And then alongside that, of course, I have the second one. Second one was okay. I still think this one's better. That's just my opinion, because the ending to this is kind of like, eh. They could have done something better and different with it, but, whatever. But this one's still the better. But they're both good, don't get me wrong. Then I have a triple feature. I Know What You Did Last Summer, When a Stranger Calls, and Vacancy. This is a classic. This is a remake. I think I've seen the original in black and white, but I like this version better. And then this one just makes you not want to stay at a motel ever. Then I have The Invitation. I originally saw this on Netflix. It's a pretty creepy movie. I don't want to say too much about it. Go watch it. And then of course I have It and It Chapter 2 on 4K. I have the original as well with Tim Curry. That movie used to scare the crap out of me when it first came out, and I think it came out when I was 7 or 8. Now I watch it and it's just goofy. This one's more scary. Not scary, but it's a clown. I'm not afraid of clowns. I guess if you're afraid of clowns, yeah, don't watch these movies. But Adam Skarsgård, is that his name? He is really good in this as Pennywise, and he does that thing with his eye, and that's probably the creepiest part of the whole action of him doing this role. It's just that eyeball thing, and it's just really good split of the story though. And then one of them that I forgot to mention in the H category was Hubie Halloween on Netflix. I believe that came out last year with Adam Sandler and basically his whole normal crew. Really funny movie. He does one of his weird voices, of course. But it's pretty funny, and it's a really good Halloween movie. They haven't released it yet on Blu-ray, sadly, but when they do, I'll definitely get it. And then we have the classic cartoon. It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I think I have this one. Well, I know I have this one. And the Christmas one. I'll go over that later when we get to Christmas movies in a month or so. But you know, that's always a classic. Then we have Jezebel. If you haven't seen this, it's really creepy. Basically, this girl, I think she gets into like a car accident or something. She ends up in a wheelchair, and she moves into her, I want to say grandmother's house, but I'm not positive. But it's like in Louisiana, and so she's in a wheelchair, and she's basically in a haunted house. So putting those two together was a really good idea because there's less mobility in a wheelchair. So it's pretty scary for what it is. Then we have The Last Exorcism, which is a found footage movie. If you haven't noticed by now, I like found footage movies a lot, just because they seem more realistic, but I know they're not real. But this is basically based on I don't know if it's a fake preacher or one that's just lost his way, I guess. But basically he has somebody that's filming him, and he goes around and fakes exorcisms to make himself look good, of course. But then he runs into this girl and their family, and she's not faking it. So he has to figure out what to do to solve that problem. Then we have Lights Out. Really good concept of the movie. I remember when everybody watched the trailer for it before the movie came out. Everybody was freaking out about it because she's there. The antagonist is there 1 minute, gone the next. So it's pretty creepy for what it is. Lovely Molly. That was a new one for me this year. Really creepy movie. She gets possessed, I think. Yeah. But pretty crazy movie. It's really good though. Really creepy. Then we have Jessica Chastain in Mama. I like this movie just because how the mother looks in it, or Mama looks, and how she moves. It's really off-putting. There's the scene in there. If you've seen it, you know which one. It's probably the one where she comes out where you can see her, and then she just runs at you. But the run is like very awkward. And I have a 2-pack here of The Messengers and Freedom Land. Out of these two, I just watched The Messengers with what's her name? The one from Twilight, Kristen Stewart. It's really creepy. Basically, they move into a farmhouse out in the country of nowhere, and it has a barn, and it's haunted. So you know, chaos ensues. The creepiest scene that I remember in this movie is when the mom is making her bed, I guess, and so she whips up the sheet, and you see like a pair of gray feet, and then when the sheet comes down, it makes them disappear. It's really creepy. Then I have Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland. Really good concept of a movie. I have Mirrors 2 as well, but this one's better just because I think Kiefer Sutherland is a better actor in it, and it has the bathtub scene in it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch it, and then you'll know. And then I have a 2-pack here. Hashtag Screamers and The Monster Project. I didn't watch Screamers. I watched Screamers actually in September, and then I watched The Monster Project in October. I like this one a lot better. Both of them are found footage POV style, of course. Screamers, it's hard to explain how that one is. It's been a while. But The Monster Project basically is about this team, of course, of friends that want to interview a real, vampire, a girl that's possessed by a demon, and a skinwalker, I believe. And, you know, of course, the friends, they think, you know, these people are just faking it. But they're not. So, yeah. Then we have the classic Monster Squad, very 80s feel. It feels like the Goonies, but with monsters instead of pirates. So I really like this movie. You know, it's corny, it's cliche, but it's goofy and it's really fun. We have the original Night of the Living Dead. This is the black and white one, of course. And then we have The Nightmare Before Christmas. Technically, I guess I watched this one on November 1st. I watched it at midnight on the 31st. Just because this is like a split one for me. I don't know if it's Halloween or Christmas focused. And it's kind of like the change of it from Halloween to Christmas. So that's how I watch it at. That's why I watch it at midnight on Halloween night, because it's like from one holiday turning to the next one. Then we have Freddy Krueger, of course, and Nightmare on Elm Street, classic. I think I've seen all of them. The first one isn't as scary as some of the others. I also have Freddy vs. Jason. That one's not even scary anymore. It's just hilarious. Then I have probably my oldest horror movie, Nosferatu. I believe I found this one on a Barnes & Noble, I don't know how long ago, a couple of years ago. But yeah, this is the original silent movie. I think it was in like 1922 or 27 or something. So black and white silent movie. Still holds up to this day though as one of the creepiest vampire movies. And of course it's from the Kino Classics. Then I watched Oculus. It's a very creepy movie. And you don't expect how it ends. That's the main part of it. Has a surprise ending, and I didn't think it'd happen that way, but very good. Watch it. Then I have the original Omen with Gregory Peck. I've seen the remake with Liev Schreiber. It's okay, but nothing beats the classic. And I think I've seen the other ones too. I've seen the second one. I fell asleep during the third one just because it was him growing up. Him growing up, and it was just like, okay, I'm over it. Then we have the others with Nicole Kidman. A very good haunted house movie set in the country, and they're in a big mansion. Very good. I think it's set in like England or Ireland or somewhere. Ouija, Origin of Evil. I originally had the one movie that was just called Ouija. And then I saw this one, and this one was a lot better premise, I guess, to the other one. Because the other one was just basically a bunch of teens playing with the Ouija board. This is basically how the Ouija board became a game, and what happened after somebody played with it. So I like this one a lot better. The plot's a lot better. The little girl in it, she's a really good actress in it. Very creepy. Then I have all 6 Paranormal Activity movies. Out of these 6, the only, I won't say bad, because it's not bad, it's just different. Or it doesn't hold up to the other 5. Was the Ghost Time Mission, of course, just because it kind of shows something, towards the end, of course. I like the originals because they don't show anything. And whenever you can't see what's haunting you, that's probably the scariest thing ever. I couldn't imagine. And then I actually watched this the day before Paranormal Next of Kin came out. I streamed and watched that. That was pretty good. Not as much paranormal stuff, like stuff where you don't see what the antagonist is. Because I think halfway through you actually see the demon or whatever it is. But it was pretty good. I think it had a couple good jump scares in there. It was better than the Ghost Time Mission though. So yeah. Then I have the remake of the Pet Sematary. I have the original as well. I like this one a little bit more just because it has more of a twist at the end than the original. Because the original you can kind of predict what's going to happen, but this has a twist, a variation twist as opposed to the original in it. And John Lithgow is good in it. And this is by Stephen King, of course. And then we have Poltergeist. They're here, and this is always a good one. It has the father, Greg T. Nelson, in it, and the practical effects in this are really good. And I heard when I was I think the day I was watching this movie, actually, I read somewhere where the mother, I think it's the mother, yeah, when the mother slides into the pool area with the mud and the water, with the rain and the skeletons, that the skeletons were actually real skeletons. Like, they weren't props. They were actually like dead people. So that's kind of creepy. I think they did that just for effect, just to make her scream more. So yeah. And then we have Pumpkinhead, because it's a weird movie, and it's a good monster movie. And it's pretty funny because like they can't kill it or whatever. Then we have The Return of the Living Dead, which is always hilarious. It's a really good zombie movie for what it is. Then I have the original Ring, and I have Rings, the newest one, I believe. I've never seen Ring 2. I've seen this, of course. This one's good because it's the original of how it started, basically. And then Rings, just because it's the updated version. Both are really good, though. And then we have Rocky Horror Picture Show with Tim Curry. You know, it's always a good musical comedy of sorts. Then I have the old one called Salem's Lot. It's a pretty good creepy movie. You know, with the vampire in the house on top of the hill with his human guardian protecting him. Then we have this one, I believe this came out 2 years ago. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Guillermo del Toro. It has some scares in it. I mean, if you've read the book, like I still actually have the book in my shed somewhere. And I was surprised that they made a movie about this, because I was like, oh my God, I have the book from when I was little. And yeah, very, very good makeup, very good how it's put together and everything. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the remake of It, in a way. I don't know, just the feel of it. But yeah, really good movie. Then we have the classic The Shining from Stanley Kubrick with Mr. Jack Nicholson. And then I have the first Silent Hill movie. I watched that. I have the second one. The second one's not as good, of course. This one's more creepy, and it shows basically how it began. Then the first Sinister movie. I have the second one as well. First one's better, though. I like Ethan Hawke's character in it better. And then we have Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci in Sleepy Hollow. Love this movie for Halloween. I think in the very beginning, when he goes from London to Sleepy Hollow, they have like I think he goes on Halloween night. He reaches Sleepy Hollow, and everybody's at was it the mayor's house or manor or whatever, and there's pumpkins out and torches, and it's really good. And then I believe I'm trying to remember what's his name. Christopher Walken is the Headless Horseman. And I didn't realize that until I watched it like the second time. And I was like, oh my God, that is Christopher Walken. It doesn't really look like him because, you know, he's got makeup and different eyes and different teeth on. But yeah, it's him. The Taking of Deborah Logan. This is a new one I first streamed and then I bought it because it was really good. Basically, it's about this team that goes out to do research on this woman, Deborah Logan. She has, I think it's Alzheimer's or some kind of degenerating, disease, like when you get older. Appears it's not one of those. But there is a really scary well, not scary, more creepy, I guess. But I guess if you're usually scared, it has a really scary scene in it. It's towards the end, of course. But it involves her and a little girl. That's all I'm going to say. Then we have the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I think I've seen all of them, including the Leatherface one. But, you can't beat a classic with Mr. Leatherface there. Then we have John Carpenter's The Thing with Kurt Russell. This is probably the best horror movie with practical props and everything. It scares in it because it's mostly known for the was it the operating room scene or the chest bursting scene. Really good. This is probably up there with like the first Alien movie. But yeah, really scary. Then I have a double feature here. I watched both of these, 13 Ghosts and House of Wax. 13 Ghosts, it was I didn't think it was that scary. I just kind of like the look of that house. But yeah, very, very funny and stuff. House of Wax, that was probably more creepy than this one. Just because I remember the scene where, I forget the actor's name. The guy from Supernatural, the older brother, I think, or the younger brother. I don't know. I don't watch the show. But basically, he's made into a wax figure, and they find him, and they're trying to peel the wax off his face, but they end up just peeling his face, and it's just like, oh. Then we have a horror comedy, Transylvania 65,000, or 65,000. I didn't even know this was a movie till last year, and it's pretty funny. It has Jeff Goldblum in it, Joseph Bologna, Carol Kane, Jeffrey Jones, Gina Davis, Michael Richards. It has like almost everybody in it. It's kind of like, it reminded me a lot of Young Frankenstein, but very good movie, very funny. Then we have my favorite Halloween movie that I have to watch every Halloween, Trick or Treat. Really good anthology movie. Highly recommend. It starts at a point up here, and then it goes through different stories throughout the whole night. And by the end of the night, you're basically back to where it all began. And I love that. I love when it ties up with a neat little bow. Everything resolves itself, basically. I heard somebody told me to watch, what's that other one that they say it's an anthology Halloween movie? Halloween Tale, or a Halloween Tale, I don't know. I watched that one. That one was bad compared to this one. Highly recommend Trick or Treat if you need a Halloween movie to watch. Then we have Unfriended. We all know this one, where there's a mystery caller that joins their Skype call, and then people start dying, of course. And then I have Van Helsing, which isn't really a Halloween movie, but it's got like the monsters in it. It's got basically the Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula. I think that's it. Oh, Hunchback of Notre Dame's in there too. Trying to think. And then it has Dracula's Three Brides, which are hot, but they're also scary as hell. This is my favorite comedy horror movie, What We Do in the Shadows. I believe right now there's a series out of I think it started out as a British series long ago. Then they made it into this movie. And now we have basically an American version of this series. But it's really good. Really funny. Oh my god. It's about these three vampires that live in a flat together. And they invite basically a journalist team to watch their daily lives, to document it. It's a found footage well, I wouldn't even say found footage because they were invited, so I would just say POV style. Then we have my other A24 movie, The Witch. When I first watched this, I don't know when, 2016 or 17 when it came out, it was really scary. Now, compared to Hereditary, it's like a cakewalk. I mean, there are some scenes in it where it's like, wow, because A24 is known for that. Just shocking scenes, but it's really good. And what's her name? Anna Taylor, or I can't see. I can't see her name anywhere. Yeah, but oh, here we go. Anna Taylor-Joy, that's her name. But she's the daughter in it, and it takes place in like the Pilgrim time. She plays the daughter in it, and very good actress in it, and she basically becomes the main actress throughout the whole movie overall. But it's really creepy. Very good watch though. Then we have the remake of The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Sir Anthony Hopkins. Really good movie. The effects in this are really good, as opposed to An American Werewolf in London. I mean, that one's okay for what it was back then. This is, of course, this was made like 10 or 15 years later. And it also has Agent Smith in it as well. as like the cop in it, I guess. But yeah, really well done with the creature effects and everything. Like that one. The Woman in Black with Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe. I remember when I first saw this movie, I kept thinking Harry Potter, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. But he does not give off any of the Harry Potter vibes in this movie. And they're pretty right. Don't watch this alone if you're easily scared. Just the setting of where I think he calls it an estate, where it is really creepy. It's like in a marsh, and the whole story is really scary. But it's a really good movie. The ending, and I used to have the second one. I forget what it was called. I didn't find it as scary or entertaining. I think I bought it at one time, tried to watch it, fell asleep, tried to watch it again, and fell asleep. So I was like, yeah, I can't. But yeah, really good movie. Okay, then for the final one, we have Young Frankenstein. Mel Brooks's, one of Mel Brooks's, beloved movies, along with Blazing Saddles and Robin Hood Men in Tights. Love this movie. I think I remember the most lines from this movie than any other movie ever. Just because it's that much of a classic. I watch it every year. It has so many memorable moments in it. I can almost quote the whole movie. But yeah. Other than that, I think that's it. So if you guys were counting, let me know how many movies, because I didn't count. What I may do is I may count at the end. When I edit and rewatch this, I'll put it in the description of how many. But for now, guys, yeah, that's all I watched in October. And if you haven't noticed, I am a horror movie buff. Or, well, I don't know about buff, but out of like, comedy, action, horror, mystery, crime, Western war. Horror is my biggest section in my collection, just because I like it the most. I don't get scared easily. Pretty desensitized to blind stuff. I will say though that the hardest horror movie to watch that, there's two of them. Hardest two movies that are hardest to watch is Mother, and just because of like everything that goes on during it, and then the remake of The Evil Dead that came out like a couple of years ago. Like gore doesn't usually bother me as long as it's necessary gore, but if you're just like throwing gore wherever you can just for the hell of it, it's like, number one, why? And number two, it's just too much. So just stop it. And that movie was full of it. So I was like, okay. But other than that, it was still a good remake. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think that's all for October. Starting to make a list for November. And of course I'll do that either at the end of November or the very early beginning of December for you guys. But I think that's it for now. Hopefully this wasn't too long. But if you stay till the end, thank you very much. Please give this a like, follow me and share this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I think I'm going to post twice a week, because I do have another channel. It's all about Nerf, and I usually post once a day on there, and that's more of a setup than movies. So I'm usually doing those videos a lot, as opposed to my movies. But I think I'm going to be posting Monday and Friday for the movie channel here. And I'm not sure what to go through first. Like, I don't know if you want me to... Well, let's give you guys the option. Do you want me to go through categories such as Western, horror, comedy at a time? Or do you want me to go through my 4K collection or my 4K box set collection? It's up to you guys, because I have no clue. But yeah, I think that's it for now. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.